Okay, back. What is it? Week 5? Week 4? Week 5?
Yeah, week 5, baby.
Week 5, let's go.
Getting kicked off.
Niners have their bye week coming up. Gonna be really, it's a needed bye week. Early bye week. It's gonna be needed though. Get everybody rested up. Get Jeff Wilson one more week, maybe closer to coming back, saving that running back group. But before we get into things, got a fun little email on my phone saying a trade was done. Darsh traded for Josh Allen, gave up Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Matthew Stafford. Fine thing, but just want to say Daniel Jones was out there and he won NFC Offensive Player of the Week last week. Dropped like 29 points. Why aren't you just gonna pick up Danny Dimes for free, dude? And why would you? Are you giving up on Matthew Stafford that quickly?
I'm not giving up on Matthew Stafford. I just like the Bills' schedule. I mean, if you look at the Bills' schedule, let me go ahead and pull that up really quickly. But if you look at the Bills' schedule, they're going up against some really easy teams. We're talking about the Chiefs this week, right? But after the Chiefs, you have the Dolphins, which they demolished, and then the Jaguars and Jets, and that's all within a span of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting massive points by Josh Allen to be scored on all three of those. So just from a fantasy perspective, I'm expecting the Bills to score a lot of points the rest of the season on through. They've already been a powerhouse. They dunked 43 points on the Washington football team and then, held the Dolphins to nothing. Obviously, that was a game that Tua got injured, but still they dunked 35 points on the Dolphins at that point. So I was just expecting the Bills to put it up. But to be honest, this trade was originated because Luke actually, he initiated the trade. He was like, Aaron Jones for Josh Allen. I'm like, hell no, I'm not giving up Aaron Jones for Josh Allen. Too many points there. But I'm like, how about like someone like Clyde Edwards-Helaire? And then I was like, you know what? He's probably going to want another quarterback. So I was thinking like, do I want to give up Aaron Rodgers or do I want to give up Matthew Stafford? And I just feel like I'd rather not give up Aaron Rodgers just because I know the Rams are going to be, especially with especially with the way that the game kind of went with Cardinals. I think that they're going to be in the thick of it. They're not exactly free and clear. The uncontested winners of the NFC West, the way that they were looking in the beginning. They're not like that. I think they're going to be in the thick of it. A lot of teams are going to be game planning around them. So I was just looking at it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll give him Matthew Stafford. I want him to be enticed. And then I was looking at it. Okay, I'll give up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or do I give up Chase Edmonds? And frankly, with the way that Chase Edmonds has been playing, even though he's technically competing for snaps with James Conner, I just think that the Cardinals are also going to be another offense that are just going to be putting up points on points on points. So I just thought that I'd rather keep Chase Edmonds, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been kind of unpredictable a little bit in terms of how much you can expect from him. He went from scoring roughly around 12 points a game, I think, or roughly around like 12 points a game last year to something less than that this year. Mm-hmm. So it's just something I wasn't very confident in. So I was like, might as well give it up and then make sure I secure Josh Allen, because I expect Josh Allen to go put up lots and lots and lots of points going up. And he already has Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't need Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. No one needs that. So
that's one of them goes down. But their rest of their schedule is crazy. They've already dropped 240 burgers, and then they got the Chiefs. They got the Chiefs, which is tough. Titans.
I'm expecting that also to be. I'm also expecting the Chiefs game this upcoming week. I'm expecting it to just be we'll get into it later, but I'm expecting it to be lots and lots of points.
Yeah, like I said about the Rams Cardinals game, how that was going to be the highest scoring game of the year. I think that Bills Chiefs game is probably going to be right up there. The Cardinals game was basically destruction of the Rams. They got completely exposed for what I think they actually are. You know what I mean? But I honestly don't even think the Cardinals are that good either. We're going to see this week. This week is going to be a determining factor in seeing what they do, because you got to give the Niners defense credit. We basically held Seattle to 1 first down, or to like 3 first downs the entire first half. Besides that, like one of their last drive, like when they went and scored a touchdown, but they had like negative 11 yards of offense. And it was crazy. And I was just that was the game where the Giants were still going to clinch the playoff So I was like clicking back and forth. So every time the Niners were on offense, I was watching. And then every time I clicked back, I was like, Jesus, are the Seahawks like doing anything on offense? Because every time I clicked back, we were back on offense. But guess what? Guess what we did? Still didn't score one time. We scored the first opening drive to Ross Dwelly, and then after that, it was a complete blank out. Yeah, stupid game. Yeah, I think that was a fine trade, but with the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week still on the waiver wire, you could have just got him instead. But the schedule is super like favorable, my guy.
So the only thing I could have probably done is maybe I'm discounting Clyde Edwards-Helaire a little bit too much. Maybe he is in for a huge season, but I also just think that I just feel like the Cardinals are primed to score a lot more, and I feel like they're going to be utilizing the run game a little bit more consistently, and I'm able to predict them a little bit more so than I can predict Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because I know that he's popped off last couple of weeks, but before that he barely scratched 10 points in week 1, and then week 2 he only put up like 2 points and then fumbled a bunch. So it's just maybe I'm discounting Clyde Edwards-Helaire too much, but that's what I thought, and I thought that was fair. So.
Yeah. Well, but what you're talking about Chase Edmonds, though, it really stinks how James Conner's like the goal line back.
Yeah.
Because he gets the touchdowns. A little bit frustrating. I can imagine that would be really stupid, especially if you're like there the entire drive and then James Conner comes in the game and then punches it in. That's probably kind of annoying.
Yeah, getting vultured by James Conner. Yeah, 100%. Because James Conner had 2 touchdowns last week, and then 2 touchdowns the week before that. So he's definitely going to be getting those reps. But at the end of the day, it's we're in a PPR league, so it's even if you don't get that goal line score, as long as you're getting consistently around 5 to 6 targets a game, and you're roughly either rushing for or getting receiving yards of roughly around 50, that's still consistent, reliable production. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take that. And then any touchdowns he gets are bonus. But so far, I don't think he's gotten any. I don't think he's gotten any touchdowns. But
do you think I'm crazy for wanting to be open to trading Justin Herbert to get more running backs?
Let me take a look at your team.
My team consists of Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick / Elijah Mitchell, Deebo, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Washington Football, Mark Andrews, and George Kittle.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good football team. And then I have Marquise Brown and Sterling Shepard on the bench. It's a good team.
You have a lot of receivers, honestly. You have a lot of you have your top 3 receivers are Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, and Deebo Samuel. That is like you're pretty much set. To be honest, you already have Joe Burrow. So like you already mentioned, Daniel Jones is just sitting out there. So I feel like you could totally scream Daniel Jones any of those weeks where Joe Burrow might not be as favored. But I think, dude, honestly, I don't know. I don't feel like you necessarily need
running
to
backs?
trade for a running back, especially since your receivers are so good. Because, what are you going to do? You're going to put in a running back,
that could get hurt the next week.
Something like that. So,
yeah, actually, I think I'm good because Ant Gibson, he's good, but he's questionable like every single week. But he ends up balling out every single time. He's a stud.
Yeah, well, we just talked about James Conner. He's available. And Latavius Murray. Those two are available. Latavius Murray is supposedly the number 1 back with the Baltimore Ravens right now. And obviously James Conner is getting those goal line reps. So I definitely take that into consideration for sure.
I just have a tough time playing it a Cardinals player when the Niners are playing the Cardinals this upcoming week. So I like that. Just
true.
Can you do that? If you knew that, say, some baller off the waiver wire was coming up and they're playing the Packers, would you pick him up and put him on your team just in case?
Oh, 100%. 100%, dude. Yeah, I got to be able to profit off my team's deficiencies. I don't know how to describe this, but like there have been so many times. Huh?
I'm like psycho when it comes to that stuff. I won't pick you up if you're playing the Niners that upcoming week, or if you're in my division and I straight up just hate you. I won't pick you up.
No, dude. Like straight up, like there have been so many times over there, pretty much since I've like been closely following the Packers where it's like literally we've had terrible defenses in previous weeks. So sometimes, especially terrible run defenses. So sometimes if I needed a rusher, like if I needed a runner, but I would stream an option. You know what I mean? Like if Aaron Jones gets injured and I need to put someone out there, and I know Joe Mixon's out, I would throw out Samaje Perine. I mean, like I feel like the Packers defense is actually doing pretty well this year. I mean, discount who we've played so far. We've only played the Lions. I understand that, and now we just faced the Steelers. Whatever it is, I mean, the Niners you could probably say is the best team we've faced so far. But considering all those factored in, I feel like the Packers defense is playing a lot better. So maybe I wouldn't put Samaje Perine in there. But I'm just saying in the past, I've definitely looked at it and been like, okay, yeah, the Packers have a terrible run defense. Let me go ahead and see who's available from the team that they're facing. Yeah, and let me put a running back out there. If I need to, I'm like, yeah, might as well, because think about it this way. Like, I'm already going to be depressed and sad as shit if we lose the game. I'm going to be depressed and sad as shit even more if the person if the running back, whoever's facing the Packers that week, not for the previous seasons, but whoever's going up against there rushes for like 150 plus yards and then drops 2 touchdowns on him, right? I'm like, wow, he's available and he's on the waiver. I could have picked him up, and I would have feel better because at least I would rack up 30 40 points and I would easily win my matchup in fantasy for that week. That way I'm not taking 2 L's.
You don't do those things.
Hey, I just think I'm very realistic when it comes to. Or yeah, you said last time I'm logical, but like that's what I mean. Like, I just feel like I'm very realistic when it comes to my team. I feel like I have a good handle on like this is where we suck and this is what we're bad at, but this is also where we're good at. Mm-hmm. So
okay, really. So we can talk about some more stuff and then get into some factor cap. But I've got a question for you right now. How important do you think it is for the 49ers to have a game against the division leaders right after 2 losses? Do you think that's bad, or do you think that that's good and will keep them locked in?
I don't think the Rams have had 2 losses. You're talking. Who are you talking about? Who
talking about the Niners?
Yeah,
playing the Cardinals.
Yeah, but they haven't had 2 losses. Oh, you're talking about your team having 2 losses.
My team has lost twice.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Team has been they're the best in the division. They got lucky against the Vikings, but in my opinion, I think it's really a good thing that we have this type of opponent coming up, because it just goes to show that we can't let our foot off the gas the entire season. Because I feel like in the beginning of the season, even though it's always when we need to go 1-0 each week, you know what I mean? But if we we were playing, I don't know, some lamer team, it's easier to get out of that zone. So I think it's a good thing for us that we're playing the division leaders after taking 2 tough losses, especially for Trey Lance. This is throwing him straight into the fire. You get to gauge where he is. He's already had experience, and it's kind of, if you can beat this 4-0 Cardinals team that is looking unstoppable, that people will think that has the potential to go 17-0, I mean, that says a lot and can lock up your starter spot, I feel like, for the rest of the season.
I feel like, sorry about that. I didn't understand. I was like, wait, who are you talking about? So I got lost in that. But I think this is a good pulse check for you guys. I think coming into this matchup, like, you have an opportunity here to knock off the division leaders. You've already taken 2 straight L's, and there's a lot of other factors going into this game in terms of like where your team has health-wise. So I think this is a really good pulse check, because this allows for you guys to, just like Niners team culture, just be able to be like, look, we're facing a lot of adversity here. The only thing that we have to lose this week is, you literally have nothing to lose. The only thing that you guys have to lose is nothing. You know what I mean? So go out there and play your best football. At least that's what, like, from my perspective, at least that's what the message would be if I were the coach. If I was probably not the quarterback, because I feel like the quarterback isn't really involved with that. But at least if I'm the coach, I'm talking to the team this week. That's my message out there. Like, you have nothing to lose out there, to just go out there and play your best football in terms of the way you prepare. So I think what we're going to see on Sunday is a hungrier Niners team. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, yeah, you're right. You know, you've started slow. Actually, the Seahawks game wasn't necessarily you guys started slow. You guys just didn't finish.
We haven't. We weren't opportunistic with how many stops that we got in the first half, and we haven't had a game where we put everything together. A defensive,
yeah, you guys haven't had like a full game, you know,
masterpiece, or at least something close to that on each side. We haven't quite had yet. The first half, Niners was played like the best team, one of the best defenses in football against the Seattle Seahawks. We just couldn't capitalize on the turnovers, on downs.
Yeah. So that's where, from my perspective, that's where you guys are currently sitting at. You guys are what, 2-2. You guys have an opportunity to take down the division leaders, which would put you firmly back in to the competition. I mean, not saying you guys are out of it. It's still super early in the season. This is only week 5, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys have the opportunity, that gives you a jolt. That gives your team a jolt, and then that provides you the momentum that can carry on into next week's win and then next week's win. You know what I mean? And that could turn your season around, especially if, you know, based off what I saw from Trey Lance against the Seahawks. I mean, like, yeah, it was great. I feel like there were opportunities for him to put the ball in, or to get the ball out. But I feel like he just pulled it down and ran. There are definitely those types. But I feel like a full week of preparation where Shanahan is literally in his ear about all the plays that they want to, all like the plays and all the schemes that they want to draw up against the Seahawks, or not the Seahawks, against the Cardinals this week. You know, with a full week of preparation behind him, I feel like we're going to see a much better Trey Lance. And I feel like with that energy coming in, I feel like if he plays really well, that's also another jolt. That's a significant jolt to your franchise. So
I think Trey Lance is the guy. Watching him play, like, he just does everything that you would want a quarterback to do. You can tell that he's literally 21 years old, but just the way he escapes and extend plays is fantastic. And that's what you need in today's game, because the edge rushers in our division and just the pass rushers in our division is absolutely insane. Are you watching the game right now?
Yeah, let's go. I just have pulled up over there, but yeah, no, I totally get that. He's still throwing it with so much heat, man. Yeah, I think I texted you. Probably the worst joke ever. But yeah, it's just, he puts too much mustard on the ball, bro.
Oh yeah, the freaking it. I hope he doesn't open up a burger shop because he'll put too much mustard on the burgers. Yeah, I know.
It was so bad.
Yeah,
but I watched that. I watched that and I was like, dude, he's wide open. Why are you putting that much heat on it? Like, come on.
Yeah, he threw a ball to Deebo that, I swear to God, only Deebo would have caught, because he threw it about 70 miles an hour, 4 feet over his head, and he still snagged it and brought it down. I was like, how do you do that? He's
way over his head. Yeah.
What do you think? Like,
way over his head.
Honest to God, after these first 4 weeks, you think Deebo, he's pretty legit, huh?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I didn't get to watch the morning games very much, just because, I think I mentioned you had family over and stuff. So I was busy this weekend, but from what I got to watch of the Niners game overall, was like, he's definitely like the guy. Like, if I'm extending 2 players for you guys, I think Bosa comes up. I think Bosa comes up as like number 1. You guys are extending him no matter what. But I feel like of anyone else on that team that you guys are 100% going to extend, it's going to be Deebo Samuel, just because he's like 100% that guy. I'm going to be honest, like, based off last season, I feel like maybe last season might not have been the season to, look at it or take a proper look at him, considering everything that was going on with the quarterback situation there. But I just thought, like, oh, you know what? He flashed some potential, like he could get it done, but he's probably not all there yet. But like this season, he's really surprised me. And I think he's 100% that guy. He's going to be there for your franchise. Wide receiver 1, 100% a dude that you want to put next to a quarterback that can get him the ball. Yeah. And, with a young quarterback like Trey Lance, low salary cap number, I feel like your team in general is primed to make a deep run here in the playoffs here very, very soon. Maybe not this season. I feel like the jury's not out on that. It's still so early in the season.
Yeah.
But I feel like one or two more years with Trey Lance under the belt, you keep putting weapons around him, you guys are going to be unstoppable, 100%.
Yeah, because it's like interesting because you know how with a young quarterback, it's important to have like a good run game to take pressure off their shoulders and stuff. But Deebo is special in the fact that he can provide that safety blanket, but also extend plays down the field. Like he's like almost like that safety blanket, but it's like he actually is an explosive playmaker. You know what I mean? It's not just a tight end that's reliable that it'll just catch like a 5-yard pass. You know what I mean? Or a running back you hand it off to. Deebo can do all of those things and then pop it for 50 yards. Like that's why I think he's one of the best weapons in the NFL. Like even though I know I'm hella biased, but
no,
I just think that you get him the ball and you can get him the ball in literally any way, and it just takes the pressure off everybody else on the offense because he becomes the focal point. But even if you do get him the ball, you still can't stop him because he'll carry 4 guys in the end zone. He will.
Yeah, no, he's 100% that guy. Early in the season, I thought early in season, I feel like Shanahan does a lot of things when it comes to drawing players open. You know, schematically with the playbooks or with his plays that he runs, I feel like he does a lot of things to, you know, open up guys within the scheme itself. But I thought Deebo, based off what I saw this past weekend, I thought that Deebo was just one of those guys where you don't necessarily need him drawn up. You know what I mean? Like he could be one-on-one pressed and get those 50-50 balls. Yep. Like 100%. Like he will get those.
On that big time.
Yeah, he will 100% get those. And then, yeah, you're 100% right. Like his yards after catch are insane. Like his receiving yards, you know, he's leading the league and he's almost at like 500 receiving yards. And it's only, I have no doubt in my mind he's going to hit it this weekend. But, you know, he's already there and it's like week 500. That means that he's averaged just over 100 receiving yards per game. And he's already almost there. He's only like 40 yards short, 30 yards short, something like that. So I feel like everything that we've seen so far, like he's 100% that dude. Like he can get it. He's wide receiver 1 potential, or he's not wide receiver 1 potential. He is wide receiver 1, but I mean, number 1 wide receiver in the league. Yeah, he's potentially right there.
Yeah. One thing that was always kind of a thing with Deebo that I was trying to decipher is whether he can be wide receiver 1 and more than just a weapon. And I think he has proved with how sure-handed he's been this year, taking a ball away from Jair Alexander, basically snagging a 70-mile-an-hour fastball from Trey Lance. Like those type of things are really important because like sometimes in his first 2 years he would drop passes, and I don't know how he would 1v1, even though he did have some really spectacular catches. But he's showing, even though he might not be as good as like vertically as a DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams, but he can be like a specialty wide receiver 1 because he still can win.
Yeah, once he gets the balls in his hand.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I feel like the question mark for the past couple seasons has been just the fact that he hasn't been able to secure the ball in his hands, you know, like drop balls, whatever the case is. But I feel like now he's done that. And I feel like, you know, his target share is going to grow exponentially. So whoever drafted him this year got him at a massive discount, because I feel like he's easily going to put up more fantasy points than like guys like Stephon Diggs or Justin Jefferson. I feel like it's going to be there. It's just a matter of getting him the ball, and I feel like target share is just going to grow exponentially, and he's going to get the ball a lot, and he's going to score a hell of a lot because just his yards after catch is just unbelievable.
Right. Okay. I feel like one more thing on the 49ers before we start moving into some other teams and subjects. Kyle Shanahan, as a 49ers fan, when Trey Lance comes into the game after Jimmy G it's his ankle, right? Or his knee or whatever.
Calf.
It's his calf. Yeah. And he doesn't come into the game, and the Trey Lance comes into the game. And then the first drive, they decide to run the ball twice to Trey Sermon or something. And then they decide to run it on third down with Trey Lance. So, and then just on top, just some of the play calling is sketchy. And as a 49er fan, do you think it's fair? I know overreactions this early are kind of preposterous, but Kyle Shanahan, the whole Kyle Shanahan experience or whatever, do you think it's valid for fans to kind of be frustrated at some of the slow starts we've had and just, I don't know, some of the play calling decisions? Because he has been here for what, like 5 years now or something, and we've only been to the playoffs once. We did have a fantastic season, but there's just so many stupid play calls that make me. Obviously, he's so creative and he draws up crazy stuff, but I don't know. Some of the things is just really frustrating to watch. Like, for example, Jacques Patrick against I think it was either this week or the other week that Jacques Patrick got a ball. He got he got a handoff, and then they decided to throw it back to Jimmy G and then throw it across the. Yeah, it was against the Seahawks. They tried to do a trick play, but why would you have Jacques Patrick back there? He throws an absolute floater, and he sails it over Jimmy G's head, and then that completely busts the play. George Kittle is wide open down the field. If you throw a strike to Jimmy G and Jimmy G gets it down the field on this flea flicker play, it would have been a touchdown. But instead, you have Jacques Patrick throwing it when you have Deebo Samuel, who plays catch it with people in the stands and has an absolute cannon. And they did that one trick play during the Super Bowl when they had Deebo try to throw it down the field. I don't think it worked. Deebo ended up running for 10 yards or something. But why would you do that with Jacques Patrick? Why wouldn't you have Deebo Samuel, who has he can throw the ball like Odell Beckham Jr. right back to Jimmy G. And then also on a 4th and 2 or something when we're trying to get back in the game, Trey Lance. Literally, Grant Cohen says this, and I was thinking the exact same thing. Is Trey Lance has been our guy that we go to in the goal line, like during 2-point conversions, short down, like we need a short down conversion. Trey Lance has been the guy, but instead we hand it to Deebo Samuel, and then he gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Like why? Like why are we doing that? And when Deebo goes in motion, everybody is expecting Deebo to get the ball. So why wouldn't you just have Trey Lance run it? Why would you give it to the guy that everybody is literally expecting to get the football? Like it's just really, I don't know. I honest to God, even though it didn't even enter my mind before the Seattle game, but it could. Like Kyle Shanahan, low key, if we have a bad season, he could be on the hot seat. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I feel like Shanahan is easily top 5 coach in the league. It doesn't matter.
Offensive coordinator.
What team he's on.
He's a top 5 offensive mind in the league. I'll give you that.
Okay. You give me that. But I think he's a top 5 coach personally, just because of what I've seen offensively, the way that he's able to do it. But not only, I will say that he's also benefited from having like Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator, and not to mention defensive pieces there. Even in Atlanta when they went to the Super Bowl, their defense was also top 10, I believe. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was. But like my entire point is that he's fantastic at getting the ball out. I would say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he necessarily has offensively. 100% top 5 offensive coach, but it doesn't matter who he necessarily has behind. He's going to get the ball he's going to get the ball out. He's going to draw up plays. He's going to make sure that the offense is moving forward. I think that it was incredibly,
fuck, dude.
That first quarter was god awful. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but I just think that the way that it is like there's a lot of things that Shanahan relies on fundamentally. I feel like the trick plays aren't necessarily like a big part of it, but yeah, those trick plays definitely are factored into keeping the offense unpredictable. And yes, it does lead to instances where Jacques Patrick or whoever,
Jaquez, I guess is his name.
Just like where a bunch of like these random guys who he's bringing up from the practice squad for the very first time, they're thrown into it. And I feel like, it's unpredictable when no one expects a guy like Jacques Patrick to actually really be the one to, throw a ball or whatever. It doesn't matter for that. But I think, Shanahan, it's probably more so to his fault the past couple seasons is just been, or not to his fault, I'd say it's just been the health of the 49ers in general. I don't think that when a coach is, schematically drawing up new plays, trying to innovate the offense, basically like do better the next season than they did previous season, do they anticipate like, by week 5, I'm basically going to be down to my 3rd string running back.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't think it's hard to factor that in. All he can do is come up with a plan and then make sure that everyone is prepared as they possibly can be to run those things. So I just think that as much as we want to go in and as much as we want to, we might want to go in and be like, okay, yeah, Shanahan, like he only had one good season, went to the Super Bowl. He hasn't been as successful. And then, well, you guys are only 2 seasons from the Super Bowl that you guys were just there. You know what I mean? I don't think John Lynch would have signed him to a 5-year contract if he didn't believe, right? And let's just
I think everyone believes season. It's just.
I just think you throw out last season 100%. I just think you throw that out. Pretend like it doesn't happen. I think you base Shanahan's success this season based off of how well the team performs, how well Trey Lance performs. And I think Trey Lance is going to be a big indicator of that because you don't trade. How many picks did you guys give up to move up to third?
Whatever. We traded our future.
Yeah, he's basically betting his future on the success of Trey Lance. So if Trey Lance,
his job is in Trey Lance's hands.
For whatever reason, if for whatever reason Shanahan isn't able to develop Trey Lance to the level in which they drafted him at, right? They drafted him 3rd overall. So if Shanahan isn't able to develop Trey Lance up to that level, to have that level of success, to be a Super Bowl winner, to be a perennial MVP, essentially, like if you're drafting a guy at number 3, you're expecting those things from him, especially a quarterback. You're expecting him to be a future Hall of Famer, right? You're not going to be leveraging your entire future to do that. So I think yes. It does get a little annoying at times, but you also got to look at the whole team in perspective. And I feel like that's a lot more that I could say about Shanahan in comparison to the other offensive-minded coaches in the league. And I'd still pick Shanahan over pretty much the entire lot.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean, I would too. It's just, I don't know. There's just some things that are kind of annoying. I don't know. I still like him. I think he's fine, but yeah, I don't know. That's enough about the Niners. It makes me happy and sad because there's just so much potential when I watch. And that last drive was so encouraging when we punched it in and Deebo got another touchdown and Trey Lance kind of just worked his way down the field in the extended plays. That was really awesome to see. But how much of that was the Seahawks playing like prevent, not caring as much, who knows. But moving on to one of my highlights from last week. I think there needs to be that Taylor Heineke, Terry McLaurin connection is something that is blossoming into something very, very, very special. And I don't know. I just feel like it needs to be talked about because Taylor Heineke, not a bad quarterback. I mean, he really trusts his arm, really trusts the guys surrounding him with some throws he makes. 100%. But that's what you do when you have weapons. You trust them to make great catches. And when you have a guy like Terry McLaurin, I mean, how can you blame him? I just like how they play.
Yeah, 100%. Like I thought, I didn't get to watch the full game. I caught the last little bit. That's when I got back, was that last little bit when it went into OT, I think. No, this wasn't the OT game. No, this was not the OT game. This just came down to like the last 3 seconds or something like that. But yeah, I think Taylor Heineke, 100%. I definitely think he's definitely the Washington football team's answer at the quarterback position for right now, 100%. I definitely am not surprised by some of the production. I think that it's kind of interesting that they didn't lean into the run game a little bit more. I was expecting Antonio Gibson to have a much bigger game, but I think generally speaking, Taylor Heineke and Terry McLaurin, I think that has been probably the most surprising thing. Usually when, you take out a quarterback and put in another quarterback in midway through the season, you usually expect offensive production to go down, but that hasn't been the case. The Washington football team went against the Giants. They put up a good game against them and ended up winning. They went into Buffalo, not so good of a game, but still the production was there. And then now you're in here with Falcons. And I think this is just with Fitzpatrick being out, I'm pretty sure he's done for the season. He had a hip flux hip fluxation, something like that. I'm pretty sure he's out for the season. So I'm expecting Taylor Heineke to be that guy. And I'm excited to see what more how he kind of grows in the offense and what more the Washington football team can do. Yeah. Because I definitely don't want to just cast away the NFC East as a division, especially with the Cowboys being in there. I definitely don't want to just toss them out. But I'm not going to lie, for the past couple weeks, it definitely looked like it.
Yeah, it's ride or die with the defense. That's what I'm doing. I'm keeping that W on my lineup every week, except their bye, obviously. But yeah, I'm riding or dying. I think that they're going to turn it around. The pass rush has to get to quarterbacks eventually. You got too many good players not to. I just trust them. But yeah, you brought up a kind of a good point though, that usually when you bring in more of a less experienced quarterback and you have a guy like Terry McLaurin, usually that guy's production goes down because defenses either lock him down and realize that that's going to be his main guy that he wants to go to, but it hasn't mattered. Terry's still wide open all the time. That's how good he is. He's this absolute freaking beast. And then Taylor actually dropped some dimes in there. His one early in the game, he threw an absolute dot. It was in some tight double coverage, but also Cordarrelle Patterson, he absolutely mossed a couple guys. He's a stud. He dropped
oh my god,
he was a god that game.
That was the most disappointing thing I have ever seen. I'm being 100% honest with you. Seeing the Cordarrelle Patterson pop off was so disappointing because I have Mike Davis in I think at least two of my leagues. I picked up Mike Davis later rounds. I'm like, okay, Mike Davis is going to be that guy. Cordarrelle Patterson, highly inconsistent for the previous couple seasons. So he's going to be that dude. And then to see Mike Davis get 13 rushes for 14 yards was the most disappointing thing.
He's getting carries,
I'm like,
though.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wow, 13 rushes for 14 yards. Well, I'm sure Cordarrelle Patterson couldn't have done much better. 6 carries, 34 yards, and then 5 receptions, 82 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
All of his touchdowns were
What am I supposed to do with it? Yeah, all receiving touchdowns. But what am I supposed to do with it? Like, what the heck, man? I feel I'm so disappointed as a Mike Davis fantasy owner.
You'll be okay. He'll be fine. He's a good player.
Yeah, but You know what's interesting about that? Interesting about the Falcons? They're playing the Jets this week, and normally any team that goes against the Jets, I'm picking that team that faces the Jets. This might be the first game that I'm actually picking the Jets over the Falcons coming in, and the big reason why is because Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage aren't going to be going to London. They're not traveling with the team to London because of personal issues, and one is injury related. So I'm picking the Jets.
The kid's going to get a dub.
I think so.
Could you imagine, though? You start off 0-3, and then if you become 2-3, your season and just becomes so much brighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it does.
You went from 100%
like Zach Wilson
to like a radiating star in just like 5 seconds.
Oh my god! And then Zach Wilson's touchdown to Jameson Crowder, the one that ultimately like won the game, was just, oh my god, what a dot, dude! That kid can flat out throw the ball and some
throw the
spaces,
pigskin, baby.
He can throw the.
I was happy for Saleh.
Yeah, Robert Saleh, 100%.
Boy, do I wish he had him too. D'Amico did great last week, though. But yeah, I think that I really think the Jets could turn it around. Has to be the first week in forever that the Jets and the Giants won in the same week, right?
100%, it has to be. 100%. I'm pulling up the highlight right now. It was insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah.
What? You want to get into some factor cap?
Let's do it.
All right. You want to give yours first, and then I'll give you my couple?
Yeah, I only have a couple, or I only have 2. So, all right. So we're getting into some factor cap. Very first thing, probably got to talk about a little bit too, but the Panthers traded for Stephon Gilmore.
Yep.
And that is a week after acquiring CJ Henderson from the Jaguars. So now you're looking at the Panthers and that defense, even though they dropped the game to the Cowboys, and ultimately, they look terrible against the Cowboys, but even though they dropped the game, are the Panthers a Super Bowl contender with all the additions that they have on defense?
I think that's cap, but I think that move goes very far in terms of matching up with the Bucs. So I think that move gets them to the playoffs, Super Bowl. Not sure, division title contender for shizzle. I think that they definitely have the pieces to beat out the Bucs. As crazy as that sounds, but what's JC Horn's status?
He's going to be coming back this season.
So he's coming back. You've got, and then you're going to have Stephon, who, as much as people I feel like want to write him off, is only 31 years old. In a lot of people's eyes, especially in the UFC world, 31 years old is basically a man's prime time to be alive. So I mean, that's a scary secondary. And then you got Jeremy Chin on top of that, right? Is he okay? Is he not injured or anything?
Jeremy Chin, no, but JC Horn, he fractured his foot, he broke 3 bones in his foot week 3, and then is on the IR. They're hoping for a late season return for JC Horn. So yeah, you're looking at CJ Henderson, Stephon Gilmore, JC Horn, and then they currently have someone else on there as well.
I don't know,
the
but
guy that they originally
that you have to, in order to beat the Bucs, you just have to be able to like keep Mike Evans in line, and then just keep Chris Godwin, because they find creative ways to get Chris Godwin the ball, and he still gets the ball anyway. But if you can just minimize those guys a little bit, you can keep yourself in a ball game. I mean, if you have to make them rely on Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, you have a pretty good chance of winning that game.
AJ Bouye. There we go. They have AJ Bouye.
Yeah, Bouye's good from the Jags, right?
Yeah. They have him.
I think they can win.
He was originally on the 100%. 100%. I definitely think that this move makes their defense one of the scariest defenses in the league. Yeah. Like if you're opposing quarterback, you do not want to be throwing against CJ Henderson, AJ Bouye, Stephon Gilmore. Like, who are you going to throw the ball to? And I feel like you're 100% right. Panthers, Bucs. I'm going to be picking the Panthers on. I'm going to be picking the Panthers on that one, because I have no doubt in my mind that Mike Evans is going to get locked up. We already saw what happened with Mike Evans when, he got locked up by Trevon Diggs in week 1. So I have no doubt in my mind that Mike Evans is going to get locked up by either Stephon Gilmore or CJ Henderson. So ultimately, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to play both sides of the field? And
it's called
the other. Well, no, Godwin. Godwin's going to line up in the slot, or he's going to line up wide out, right? Or line up as a wide out. Well, either or. Who are you going to throw in there? You're going to have AJ Bouye in the slot, or you're going to have CJ Henderson out there. And we haven't even talked about JC Horn potentially coming back later on in the season.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Not to mention what they currently have. Like, we're talking about their secondary. Their secondary is freaking legit. Yeah, Jeremy Chin's, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Jeremy Chin is out on the team, and he's healthy. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but not to mention that, but just the work that Shaq Thomason has done so far. I mean, no, he's still in. I'm pretty sure he's still healthy.
I think he's hurt.
Yeah, you're right. He is. He's out this week. Okay,
that's trash.
Previously, the work that Shaq Thompson had done defensively, along with Brian Burns, they're locking up that run game. They are 100% locking up that run game. Let's not count what the Cowboys just did to them, but I 100% with what the weapons that the Bucs have. They have Leonard Fournette and they have Ronald Jones, and they were so sure. Huh?
Isn't
Gio? Yeah, Gio Bernard. He's hurt. So they have Leonard Fournette, Rojo, and then Gio Bernard, but he's injured right now, and he'll be back by the end of the season, I'm sure. But look at that running back core, and I'm sure you're probably like really high on Leonard Fournette, especially based off what we just saw of, what they did against the Patriots and what they did previously. But I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, you saw the production that Leonard Fournette had. And then you look at the way that the Bucs played throughout the course of the season so far. Arians was so adamant against naming Leonard Fournette the starter and putting out, to the extent of putting out Rojo after he had just fumbled the ball twice the previous week, and then saying that they were going to split shares and never really fully committing to Leonard Fournette as a starter. So I just think that that's non-committal. That means that I feel like there's a little bit more going on with that run game. Maybe Byron Leftwich doesn't have it all together for them. So yeah, I'm picking the Panthers to knock them off. That would be fantastic. If you're the Panthers and that's what your season's looking like, that's a hell of a lot better than what you could have even possibly thought of after the way that last season ended. Now you have Sam Darnold and he's slinging him and he's running it. Yeah. And it's insane.
He's been touchdowns in the league.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic for that team. He's getting the ball out. He's getting the ball out efficiently. And when no one's open, he's not afraid to go and run. He had a couple of bad interceptions, but still, like, he's getting the job done for them. So Panthers, I'm gonna say fact. I feel like they're 100% a Super Bowl contender, and I'm picking them to beat the Bucs 100% in that division.
Sam Darnold proves that Adam Gase was just fucking not the move,
dude. 100%. And I just think, like, okay, if Sam Darnold was that good and the Jets were really just that bad, they could not utilize Sam Darnold for that. I'm just thinking, like, who else was on the Jets during that time that probably could have done a whole lot better still, somewhere else. I'm just thinking, like, could a guy like Denzel Mims, I know he was just
he was always hurt though.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think the Panthers, they're legit. That move was really depressing because I as soon as I saw that in the morning, I texted Sheridan and I was like, dude, 49ers sign now, must have, because we need that big time. But it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
My friends,
they got him for a 6th round.
What? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they got him for a 6th round pick.
A guy that's going to help you maybe get to the Super Bowl for a 6th round pick is well worth it, even if it is just for 1 year, dude.
And he was ready for that too. But
yeah,
it turns out Stephon Gilmore only wanted to go to the Packers or the Panthers.
Devontae
they wanted to run home.
He never called.
Yeah, yeah.
Never called.
My final factor cap. I know you have a couple more, but the Steelers are done. Losing, never heard of her. They've definitely heard of her, and Big Ben is washed. Factor cap.
Chase Claypool's never heard of losing before. So I don't. Yeah, they're not looking too good, huh?
No, they are not looking very good.
I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs for sure.
No, especially, I think
the Bengals are better than them.
Yeah, 100%.
They're gonna. Could they finish in the cellar this year?
I think so.
That's great.
I think so. So factor cap though. You think they're through? You think Big Ben's washed? You think they're done for the season?
Okay, with all due respect, Big Ben Hall of Famer.
100%.
He's been washed up laying on the shore for like 3 years now. Like, let's be real. He can't move very well. Did you see that one pick he threw? He threw it right to it. It was a triple coverage, dude. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, they're done for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely on the same page with you. I feel like it doesn't matter if Big Ben was maybe even like 4 years ago, say before he was washed up. If with this team, I just don't think that they got it. I just don't think they got it. I feel like the defense was their saving grace a lot of times last season, especially when the offense couldn't get things going. And I feel like their defense this year just hasn't played up to it, whether due to injuries or something else going on there. I just don't think they're. And then now offensively, you brought in a guy who can run, Najee Harris, and he can carry 3-4 guys on him and still get that first down for you 100%. But I just think looking through everything, you needed a quarterback down there that could get the ball out a lot faster. I mean, like, I don't know what Big Ben's story is. Someone was telling me that, apparently a couple seasons ago, he played through a shoulder injury or an elbow injury that he probably shouldn't have played through. And that just like ruined his throwing arm. So now he can't throw the ball normally. Someone told me that. I don't know if that's fact or maybe that's cap. I don't know. But
who are your
some of the balls it was just a friend that told me that. So I don't know. I don't know if that was true, but like the way that he was throwing the ball, sometimes it was not pretty. And I mean, like, if you're Juju, I would be slamming the iPad too, bro. I'd be so pissed. So I'm gonna say fact on that one as well.
Okay. Urban Meyer, does he make it the entire season without being fired?
I think you have to. I think he has to be honest.
Do you think he's
He
going to make
has
the
to get
entire
through the
season?
season. Yeah, I think he's going to make it through the entire season. If you're the Jaguars, you're not going to let him go off of. I mean, like ultimately, like what did he do? He left the team early. Okay, that's mistake number one. Off a loss, you're going to leave the team. That's 100% like a bad sign of leadership. And then two, what?
You're going to put your hand
Oh,
up someone's
hang on,
butt.
say that again.
Huh?
Say that again. You cut out.
Oh, no. You're going to put your... Yeah, he was just hanging with a young woman.
Yep. But I mean, like, ultimately, like, let's take a look at that. Like, all in perspective, he left the team early. He shouldn't have left the team early just after a loss like that. You don't do that. That's a terrible sign of leadership to just abandon the team. Yep. I don't care if you're playing in Ohio, if you're playing in Arizona. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you've been with Ohio for the past 13 something years. I don't know. I don't give a shit about any of that. You're with the Jaguars now. You don't abandon the team. Okay, that's a terrible sign of leadership. So 100%, I fault him for that. Okay, but I mean, like, yeah, he goes out to a bar. He says that he's hanging out with his grandkids, ends up leaving the grandkids at home with his wife, and then ends up dancing with a bunch of girls. Like, that's probably like a moral thing. That's probably something that he's got to sort out. But as far as like a team, realistically speaking, that incident, the only thing I'm punishing him for is the fact that he left the team. That's not a very good sign of leadership. Maybe I didn't read maybe I didn't read enough of it, or maybe I should have watched the video or something like that. But just the fact that he was dancing with another woman, even though he's married, that's his personal issue, moral thing. It's not detrimental to the team other than causing a distraction.
It's embarrassing though.
It's embarrassing. Yeah, I understand, but I brought this guy in at the beginning of the season for one purpose, and that was to win, right? The part that I'm getting upset about is the fact that he left the team after a loss, and he's not providing good enough leadership for that. I think this is something that you can overcome. This is something that you can improve on. This is 100% something that you can improve on. He's like an old
man, though. Like, what are you going to do?
What do you mean?
He knows what's right and wrong. And also, on top of that, doesn't winning and like developing a culture go hand in hand? And right now, he's not really helping that out by his players just laugh at him. Like that's not, I don't know. It's just a joke to them, I guess. And that's just kind of stupid. They don't have respect for him, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's a different sign. I think that's probably a different argument there. Holy crap. Hawks just scored. Yeah, that was defensive. Oh, no, they didn't score. That was just an interception. But I just think that this is something that it's something that he's going to learn and improve on. I think he is going to make it through the rest of the season. I think they owe it, because here's what I'm thinking of ultimately at the end of the day. If I'm Shad Khan or Khan or whatever, whoever the owner is, if I'm looking at that, I'm the owner. I'm looking at things prospectively. And here's what I'm saying. His actions there were detrimental to the team in terms of just, creating distraction, and then ultimately not a very good sign of leadership. Those are all things that I can correct. Those are all things that I can sit down, talk to, and, let him know, like, hey, this is a football team. This is different than college. You can't just go and do that. Like, we're trying to create a winning culture here. And this, what you just did isn't a step towards that. But what I'm also looking at is I just drafted a quarterback just this past April. All right. I'm not gonna mess up his career based off of, basically doing a coaching shuffle, because I'm looking at my next best option, and I'm looking at my next best option. Like, who am I going to bring? Am I going to bring Jay Gruden off the street? No, I saw what he did. I saw what he did in Washington. I'm not convinced about it. What else am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Davos swing. I get it. I get what you're saying though.
Yeah, I think he's finishing out the season. Whether he makes it past the season, I don't know. But I don't want to do the coaching shuffle when I got a young quarterback. That was a shitty thing for Urban Meyer to do, especially when you're trying to create a winning culture here. That's originally what you were brought in to do. And then you do things to that level that don't show a very good sign of leadership, let alone a person with good morals. This is all stuff that I can move past because I can correct this type of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I expect Urban Meyer to move past it
I hope so,
and grow from it and earn the trust back from both the organization and the players. I just don't know if he makes it past the season.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think that he might get fired like after this year, but I think he probably make it the whole entire season.
Yeah, I think when he was originally brought on, he was probably brought on for like a 3-year deal, 4-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think based off his actions just this past, I think that deal just got shut. And that he's basically like playing for his job now. You know, maybe he was thinking like, oh, I got a couple of years when he was originally brought in. They drafted Trevor Lawrence. They, opened up the season and all that. He was probably like, oh, you know what? This is fine. I've got a couple more years in the tank. You know what I mean? Like I've still got a couple more years with this team, but based off his actions this past week, I think it's going to be cut extremely short, down to a 1 year. And I think ultimately the rest of the season, he's fighting for his job.
Yep. The next one. No, yeah, I completely agree. Danny Dimes leads the New York Football Giants to a above 500 record.
I think you and I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, or maybe in a previous episode. But yeah, I was really high on them. To be honest, I was really hot on them, and I feel like with the way that they performed against the games, or in the games that they should have definitely won, they didn't do it. So I feel like now what I'm looking at it is like they've got an extremely tough schedule, extremely tough schedule. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, well now they're 1-3. They got the dub, or is that one? Yeah, now they're 1-3. They got the dub. They got the dub on the Saints, and transverse property. That obviously means that the Giants are better than the Packers now.
Yes.
But yes. I don't think based off the rest of their record or the rest of their schedule, I don't think that they're going to be a 500 team this year. They should have won. They should have won against the Falcons. They did not win against the Falcons. They were right there with the Washington football team. They should have won that. That would have been a bonus. And I don't know. I feel like they should have. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, especially with how the Broncos. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater did get injured against the Ravens, but whatever. Maybe they should have won against the Broncos, and then I would feel like, oh yeah, 100%. But I feel like going into the Cowboys, we just saw what the Cowboys did against the number one defense in the Panthers. But I just feel like it's going to be extremely tough.
Ironic would it be if Daniel Jones' best season and the win-loss record has nothing to show for it? Because everybody's been saying the success of the Giants depends on Daniel Jones's play, but Daniel's playing like a freaking all-pro right now, and they still only have one dub.
Yeah, and I feel like Joe Judge at the end of the year when he's going, in the owners meeting and he's talking to John Mara or whoever, and they're talking about how the season went. I feel like it's not going to be an excuse for him to be like, hey, man, Daniel Jones played great, but we had a really bad schedule. Like, we drew their short stick when it came to the schedule. Like, I mean, look at it. They're playing the Cowboys this week. Then they're playing the Rams, and then the Panthers, then the Chiefs. That's their next 4 weeks.
My upset of the week, I think that they're going to beat the Cowboys.
If they beat the Cowboys, then I have a lot more faith in them against the Panthers and the Chiefs. I don't think they win against the Rams.
I think they can beat the Panthers. I think that they can beat anybody they step on the field with, to be perfectly honest. Like, I know that's cliche, but I think they have a decent shot of beating whoever they step on the field with. I don't know. I feel like and Sterling Shepard, Saquon, I mean, it's fine. You're fine. Evan Ingram, dude. You have the opportunity to win games. And I have all the faith in the world that Daniel Jones can get the job done week in and week out. It's just, can you finish in the red zone, and can you win those important divisional games? Because they're always closer.
Yeah, no. So I'm saying, Cap. I don't think Daniel Jones can lead them to above 500. I'm hoping they can sneak a couple wins against the Raiders and the Eagles. But I think my question marks are now defensively for the Giants. I just don't know. I just don't know who they have. You know what I mean? I just don't know who they have. Blake Martinez, he's dealing with an injury. I don't know if he's coming back for the season.
He's out.
But that's
for the
he's
season.
out. He's gone.
He tore his AC.
Oh man.
I know they've got Jabril. I think Leonard Williams is questionable. They've got James Bradbury. They've got who else? They got that Olakun. They got that one rookie. They have a few other guys. I'm just blanking on their names, but they have like pieces there. But yeah, it's the defense is getting kind of sketchy. That's your heart and soul is gone for the season. So heart and soul, your defense is gone. That's trash. But you want to get into some games and then call it good?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. Well, since we're already kind of on the topic, I think that the upset of the week, new segment. Giants gonna beat the Cowboys, and yeah, if you haven't, I think in terms of a guy that you could pick up on the waiver wire, I mean, I think Darius Slayton's still banged up, but he's been, I don't know who the hell you'd pick up for this game. Most of the Cowboys wide receivers, those are already taken up. The Cowboys running backs taken up. Saquon's taken up. I don't know who you would pick for our fantasy waiver wire on this one.
My upset of the week, and I feel like we're gonna get into this a little bit earlier, or a little bit later. I'm picking the Colts. I think they're gonna upend the Ravens this week.
Okay.
And as far as a fantasy waiver wire pickup, just overall for the week, I'm gonna go with Michael Carter. I know that he's still available in a lot of leagues. And based off what we saw against the Titans, I feel like he's going to get a lot of carries. He's kind of cemented himself as the back for the New York Jets. And I feel like against a weak matchup like the Falcons, I think he's just going to feast. So Michael Carter, pick him up, boys.
Okay. So you've got you think that you think the Jets are going to beat the Falcons?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's your upset of the week. No, your upset of the week is the Colts.
Colts, yeah. My upset is Colts. I just said like overall fantasy pickup of the week.
Yeah, facts.
It's going to be
okay. Bills Chiefs. I'm going with the Bills on this one.
I'm also going to go with the Bills on this one. I feel like the Chiefs just have too many question marks on defense, and I feel like the Bills are just going to capitalize on them.
Yep.
I think what's been interesting so far is the spread. So far, I feel like Emmanuel Sanders has been getting a lot of the. He's been incorporated into the offense very well, and I feel like he's been getting a lot of the target share.
That's facts. So. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. Josh Allen loves going to him, especially deep. Crazy.
Yeah.
Packers Bengals. I'm thinking we're going to see a good outing from Joe Burrow here, but I think they're ultimately going to lose 35-28.
Yeah, Bengals. I'm expecting a very good game. This is going to be very tightly contested. 100%.
Bengals go up early.
Anytime the Packers face the Bengals, anytime Aaron Rodgers has faced the Bengals, it's always been a really bad game for him. It's statistically, I don't know about that statistically, but I've always watched those games, and I know that the Packers suck against the Bengals. So I'm expecting this to be a very, very tight game. I'm going to go 31-28 field goal, final drive field goal win by the Packers. And I'm expecting Joe Burrow. to also have a fantastic game. So
yeah, I think that the Chargers are going to get by the Browns for sure.
Oh, 100%. And one more thing really quickly about the Packers Bengals.
Oh, really?
Packers.
You think that they're going to get by the Browns, Darsh?
Chargers? Yeah.
What happened to the Browns being the best team in the AFC?
That was pre-injury. That was pre-injury. That was
what?
Pre-injury. Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Baker's hurt?
Yeah, she torn. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not.
He's hurt? Dude, I haven't been following any other teams besides the Niners.
Baker, he has a torn left labrum.
What?
So, yeah, he's been going out there with he's been going out and practicing with the sling. Like he's still playing this week. But I still think the Browns are going to be good.
He's still playing?
Yeah, he's still playing because it's his left shoulder.
Oh,
it's on his right. Yeah, so he's still going out there with like a sling and everything, or not a sling, but like a, you know what I mean, like the little like the black.
Why haven't I not heard of this?
It just came public today. but it's been going on for like the past couple of weeks now. So it's been I think the Browns. Okay. One more thing about the Packers Bengals really quickly, and then I'll get to the Browns Chargers. Okay. Packers, they're playing without Jair. Defensively, they're playing out without Jair. They just signed Jalen Smith. I don't expect Jalen Smith to see the field too much against the Bengals. But the Bengals are going to be most likely playing without Joe Mixon. So that means that the Bengals are going to have an issue with the run game. Yeah, Samaje Perine. That means that the Bengals are going to have a little bit of an issue with that run game, and I feel like the Packers have been doing really well against weak rushing attacks.
Yes.
So far this season. So I feel like it's going to be a really good matchup for Joe Burrow to put up massive points, or at least throw it a lot. I feel like that's where the game flow is kind of headed towards. He's going to be targeting the Packers secondary a lot. So, and then Browns Chargers, Baker Mayfield. The fact that he has not been able to throw the ball as well, and that is because of his injury, whatever limitations, not his shoulder, or not being able to have like full utility of his left shoulder has on his throwing motion, whatever that limitation is.
Oh yeah,
I feel like that's been impacted.
Arm and like throw.
Yeah. So I feel like whatever limitation that is, it's definitely been seen because he was not able to connect with Odell Beckham wide open down the field for passes longer than I'm going to say like 15, 20 yards. And any of those wide open throws that we were seeing in the beginning of the season, he's not been able to hit that. And what that is causing is that forcing a lot of the pressure on the rushing attack more than there ever was. So I feel like I'm picking the Chargers to win this one. Although I'm still really high on the Browns. I'm still really high on the Browns for the season, though.
Okay. All right, and also I just realized you're high on crack because the Colts are not going to beat the Ravens. I can guarantee you that right now, my guy.
No, I'm still picking the Colts, man. I'm picking the Colts.
They are not going to beat the Ravens, dude. The Ravens just beat the Broncos. The Broncos, one of the better teams in the AFC West. There's no way, dude, that the Colts
I'm feeling it, bro. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the Colts on this one.
I will. I want to make a bet with you. Like, what should I do? Like, I am so I will trade you Justin Herbert. I swear to God, I will trade you Justin Herbert.
I don't need Justin Herbert. Let me take a look at your team real quick.
You want Deebo?
I want Deebo.
Okay.
Wait, no, I don't need Deebo. I don't need Deebo.
I'm willing to put my favorite player in the National Football League on the line.
I'll take Deebo, actually. Fuck it. I'll take Deebo.
I'm willing to put the best. Actually, JK, I'll give you Marquise Brown.
Nah, I don't want Hollywood Brown, bro. Why do I want a player? Why do I want a player from the team that I think is going to lose this week?
Because I'm going to rub it in your. Oh, wait, JK, what? Wait a sec. How would this work? I don't know. That doesn't really make any sense. Pick a player.
Let me get T-Mac. Let me get T-Mac. Terry McLaurin. I'll pick Terry McLaurin, and if I lose,
to put my money where my mouth is on that one, dude. Terry,
come on, bro.
Hey,
come on.
Right
this seems. I want to hang on, really quickly.
This is a win lose, like no, or whatever you call it. This is
but I mean, like if you. Yeah, but I mean, like, you really think that the Colts are going to do that bad against the Ravens? So, yeah, I want the bag for that one. Right, I want
Terry McLaurin. Terry freaking McLaurin, dude. Terry, I love you, dude. You're a young captain. I love Terry McLaurin. He's so good. But wow, I just did that.
I'm picking the Colts. I'm still picking the Colts.
I know. I know you're picking the Colts. Wow. Dude, the Ravens better win.
No, dude, I'm picking it, dude. And let me tell you why. Really quickly, all right? This is gonna sound really crazy, but the Ravens don't have a really good rushing attack. They just brought in Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray, and then they had Latavius Murray. They're bringing in Le'Veon Bell for this
for a second. When you meant rushing attack, I instantly thought of pass rushing, and then you start ranting naming off running backs. I'm like, wait a second.
No, but that's what I mean. Like Latavius Murray, Tyson Williams for the beginning of the season. They put they didn't even activate Tyson Williams for this past game. So they just ran it with Latavius Murray. I guess it doesn't really matter if you have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's healthy, but Lamar Jackson has missed the past couple of days of practice. He just hasn't practiced. So I feel like what we're going to be seeing, and maybe he's doing his own practice thing, whatever. Maybe
if
he's
Lamar
just
doesn't play,
maybe he's just getting healthy. Okay, yeah, 100%. Lamar doesn't play, bet's over. But I expect Lamar to play this game. That's the thing. I'm expecting Lamar to play this game, but I feel like what the Colts have done a really good job of is exposing teams that don't have that aren't as solid with the run game. They've lost to teams. They've lost to teams so far. They've lost to teams with a really good rushing attack, but they just won against the Dolphins. The Dolphins don't have rushing attack. So, the Rams, the Seahawks, you could say, they beat them over the top, and they had Chris Carson popped off. But the Rams, they also had Sony Michel. I think that was the Sony Michel game, not Darrell Henderson. Maybe that was the Darrell Henderson. Nope, that was the Darrell Henderson game. But even then, they haven't done it. So what I'm thinking here is that they're going to exploit the fact that the Ravens don't have a rushing attack. And what they're going to do is they're going to probably playing they're probably going to be playing nickel formations pretty much the entire game. Yeah. Probably even dime sometimes. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna force Lamar to throw the ball, especially if the Ravens can't run. So I'm expecting the Colts, and I feel like that's why I think the Colts will win.
Do you want something that'll change your mind according to fantasy football?
Sure.
Ready?
Yeah.
Jackson practiced fully Thursday and isn't listed on Baltimore's Week 5 injury report. Ryan Mink of the Ravens official site reports, I'm 101%, Jackson said, aka rest in peace, rest in peace, Colts defense. Rest in pizza. Colts.
I mean, hey, I'll take it 100%, but I know he didn't practice the past couple days.
Yeah.
He didn't practice the past 2 days. So I do know that much for a fact. Whatever's going on, maybe they're not disclosing it quite yet, whatever the situation is. I know he's also negotiating his contract. So I also know that he's currently negotiating his contract to become essentially the highest paid quarterback, and he's negotiating himself without an agent. So what I'm thinking here is he's going to be keeping that in mind when he's having to, when he's thinking maybe, he's going to tuck it in and run. I think he's going to keep that in mind.
Okay.
Going forward. So
all right.
I'm still picking the Colts, man. I have a really good feeling on this one.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to this next week and see who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
finally,
go for it.
Arizona versus one of the most inconsistent teams in football.
Who are you going to pick?
I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going 27-23. Impact performer. Impact performer.
Nick Bosa.
Javon Kinlaw, two sacks.
Yeah, okay. I was like, Bosa, he's right there. No, 100%. I'm going to go with the Cardinals on this one. And my primary reasoning is just because the 49ers don't have a secondary. So
Hey now. We did good against the Seahawks.
Yeah, you guys did
fine. Jimmy Ward, Jaquaski, Emmanuel Mosley, Diamador Lenore. We're not that bad.
I think you guys did good.
Considering what we have, we did fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. You guys are probably overperforming for what you guys have. But I think just taking all that into consideration, I feel like the Cardinals, their offense is just doing too good right now.
It's going to be a fun game. What's the score for you? What's your score prediction?
31-21. I'm expecting Trey Lance to struggle a little bit in the first quarter, kind of like ease himself into the game a little bit. This is the first game he's going to be starting. So I'm definitely expecting a little bit of struggle in the beginning, but I think he's going to start kicking things off in the second half.
Okay. All right. I think Saquon's going to go off against the Cowboys.
Against Cowboys?
Yeah. Also, Galladay probably going to keep it rolling. But, I wanted to mention one thing. The announcers, I don't know. Obviously, Kellan doesn't know Kenny Galladay, but I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, he loves his teammates, I'm assuming, but he probably didn't mind the fact that he was the only wide receiver really on the field for these past like couple weeks, because Darius Slayton's down and Sterling Shepard, Daniel Jones' favorite target, is out, and so once
they
Sterling
just
Shepard
brought in
comes
they just brought in John Ross,
Johnny Boy.
yeah, so speedster, and Kadarius Toney's healthy, so
Yeah, they haven't really found a way to get him going. Is Saquon okay? Like he's healthy, right?
Yeah,
he had a good run.
Healthy.
He had a good pass.
Carries. He had 13 carries for 52 yards against.
Didn't he have like a 56-yard touchdown?
No, he had the game time, or no, he had the game-winning touchdown run. But before that, Falcons, he rushed for 16 times. Before that, Washington. So I feel like he's not necessarily dealing with like a snap restriction or anything like that. I feel like he's pretty much full go.
Yeah.
13 to 16 just varies depending on what's going on, and he's getting about 50 yards. So
nice.
Not quite the Saquon we expected, but not quite the Saquon he was pre-injury, but he's definitely getting up there.
I think that Jamison Crowder is going to go off in London. He's going to go like 25 points or something. I think he's going to have a good game.
Nah, dude, I was so impressed. Probably about any other throw that I've seen from a rookie this year. I was so impressed by Zach Wilson's touchdown throw to Jamison Crowder, or whatever it was to win the game. That game-winning touchdown he had.
I've actually never seen it.
Oh my God, let me pull it up for you. It was so.
Here, I'll look it up on my phone real fast. I'll look it up after. It's okay. We can end this sucker, so you can watch the rest of the game. And what time is it? It's 8:22 there. That's not bad.
Yeah, I gotta go make some dinner.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to look up those Jets highlights because I've been meaning to, because Zach Wilson, he looks smooth and like he has like so really fluid movements and stuff, but they obviously haven't been able to put it together. The cool
dude, if they start putting it together, bro, I don't know.
Over under 7 wins.
For the Jets, under 7, but I think I'm gonna think right at 6, 5 or 6.
6. That's a good season for Robert.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Around there. But honestly, they beat the Falcons this week. They go 2-3, and I think they dropped the next 4
playoffs.
And then they win. They win out. That'd be insane. Playoffs, no problem. Too much for playoffs. Not for this year. Not this year. But dude, Zach Wilson, bro, I am hot on Zach Wilson more than any other quarterback in this draft. And I feel
Tony Romo loves the guy.
Yeah, dude. Tony Romo loves the guy. I fucking love the guy. I honestly, like, most Packer fans, like, I was going through Twitter. Most Packer fans were pissed that we had to watch the rest of the Jets-Titans game because it went to OT before it could get switched over to the Steelers-Packers game. But I was just like, I was ready for it. I'm like, yes, I get to watch. I get to watch more of Zach Wilson.
Yeah, my dad doesn't understand who I am because I get up in the morning and watch the freaking Washington football team. That's I roll out of bed on Sundays and watch Washington football team. Like who even are you, dude? It's like the most boring game. Like the Chargers are playing the Chiefs or something, and I'm watching the freaking Washington football team against the Falcons. Like it's the most boring.
Hey, it ended up being a good game. Like at the end.
Oh yeah, because Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson are their only forms of offense, really, and JD. So it's fantastic for me. I love watching it. But yeah, every other throw seems to be to number 17, so it's like awesome.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Bro, I'm so impressive, dude. It's insane. I was so impressed by that.
You're late.
It was just behind. It was just behind. Oh, okay.
What? What's up?
Okay, so it wasn't Zach Wilson, Jameson Crowder. The Zach Wilson, Jameson Crowder was the one that ended up tying the game to go into OT, but it was Zach Wilson to Corey Davis. That throw was just, oh my God. I hope he's like sticks around in the NFL and is able to turn the Jets franchise around with Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur. You know, I'm hoping for the best for that one, man. But that throw was just amazing. But,
yeah.
All right, bro.
All right. Later. Have some good dinner, my guy.
All right, later.
Bye.